biggest news since Langhorne is that FARC has announced that they have made changes to its green-white checkered rule. The rule in which previously allowed only lead lap cars to start the GWC will now let cars up to 3 laps down to get all their laps back and start the GWC with the lead lap cars. This change will take into effect this weekend for both the trucks and the Elite Series, which are both here at the Albuquerque Speedball in New Mexico. Probably the main reason they did this was because the race at Texas World only had 2 trucks start the GWC, as there was only 2 trucks on the lead lap by the end of the race. However, this will prevent that from ever happening again. So we'll have to see if we see this updated GWC system for the first time today. Well, anyway, let us get on to the race. Kevin Monroe earns the Mile Pole Award with Bradley Carlisle starting on his outside. Teammate Taylor Berlin, who was back in the 64 this week, is starting right behind him as Monroe gets a nice jump over Carlisle as they go into turn 3 now. First couple of trucks, single file now, as Carlisle then makes a move on the inside of Monroe as they go into 1. Monroe leads the first lap, but it's going to be Bradley Carlisle who is then going to take the lead from Monroe. A slight incident would happen soon after the start. Angel Gray is going to push up into Dylan Andrew and AJ Reed, putting both of them into the wall. Gray loses control of the truck, but comes back up to the surface, almost into Reed. That could have been a big disaster right there, as all 3 trucks will keep on going without a problem. The regulars are already starting to lose the main group here, as really no one should be surprised at this point, but we figured that at a track like this where horsepower doesn't matter as much, you'd think the difference in speed would be slightly less significant. However, that's proving not to be the case. Anyway, this group of regulars being led by Jeremy Baker, with Vincenzo Focusato not too far behind him. Dale Clow in the 0 is already going to fall a lap down on lap 7, as it just shows you how slow he is, as Bradley Carlisle goes right by him. So does Kevin Monroe, and Taylor Berlin almost goes right into the side of, and Cloud's on the wall. Yeah, that truck has plenty of issues going on with it. And just a few laps later, Carlisle is then going to catch up to Philip Borland and put him a lap down. Borland has not been much faster than Clow all weekend. That's pretty much been the story of his season so far. After spending a few years in the Elite Series, driving for the Math Motors team, he's now here running for the championship in trucks for the newly formed Fromage Racing, and is doing poorly at that. And then Carlisle's going to put Dylan Andrew a lap down, who was involved in that incident on the first lap, as he's going to go by him very easily. And he's also going to put Jesus Ignacio Chavez III a lap down. So just barely 10 laps into this race, and already there is 4 trucks a lap down. This is the smallest field we've had this season, only 17 trucks in this race, and Carlisle's got a problem as he's coming into pit road from the lead. Apparently something's gone awry in that 7 truck, as he would come to pit road and he would stay there for a couple of laps, as you just saw the pace car lights turn on. The first caution of the day flies on lap 15. Dale Clow's about to be lapped again, as Kevin Monroe's going to get into the back of him and turn him towards the inside of the track. He comes back into his teammate Taylor Berlin, as luckily no one else is going to hit him. That's going to take Berlin out of the race. And the sad irony is, Clow's going to keep going. There's an onboard shot of Berlin, as there was very little she can do about that, as she's not going to finish this race, as she has failed to do so all season. So yeah, great teamwork by M&J Racing, but then again, how often do you run to the back of a lap car and it going back up to the track and taking your teammate out? But anyway, everybody would pit under that caution, and Allie Riggs would lead on the restart, but she has a problem, as she immediately ducks to the inside of the track. Big time issues for the 19 truck, as she's going to limp it back to pit road. She will spend multiple laps there. However, she will continue on, which is a good sign, because I believe this is the farthest she's made in a truck race this season. But anyway, that's going to give the lead to Jeremy Baker on the restart, as Riggs ducks as the inside of the track. Now, this should be interesting, because Baker's much slower than the people behind him, as you see Bradley Carlisle, Philip Borland hard on the outside wall, as the caution is out, as Bradley Carlisle gets one of his laps back, as Jeremy Baker's going to beat Kevin Monroe to the caution. Now let's see what caused that. Borland's going to slide up into points leader Richard Scott and send both of them into the outside wall. Scott actually goes up the wall a little bit. Vincenzo Focusato gets a small piece of it as well. However, damage on his truck is minimal. That's going to take Borland out of the race, and it's a considerable amount of damage on Scott's truck. But anyway, under that caution, another engine failure for Patrick Johansson. It's going to take him out of the race early. Johansson, who also blew up at Langhorne and I believe wrecked out at Texas World. He is yet to finish a race this season, as he is running for the championship. This season is definitely not off to a great start here. Jamie Baker is going to continue to lead on the restart. Kevin Monroe pitted under that caution. That's now going to leave Billy Ray Smith-Thompson in second, as AJ Reed's in third. Smith-Thompson, the only non-regular in the top 5 right now, as he's stuck behind the lap truck of Andrew. But then Smith-Thompson's going to make a 3-wide move past Andrew and Baker to take the lead of the race, as you probably saw the caution lights on. But a great move by Smith-Thompson to take the lead of the race as they come to the caution. Now let's see what brought the yellow this time. Derek Clow is going to slide up the track into Mike Howard, and both of them get stuck in the wall. The race will be red flagged for a brief period. That will take Clow out of the race, to the excitement of everybody. Howard will have to get towed back to the pits, however he will continue. As you saw before, Billy Ray Smith-Thompson just barely beat Jamie Baker to the caution, and he will lead on the restart. And once again, he's got Dylan Andrew, who was a lap down on the inside of him. But as you're going to see, as they come up to speed, that Smith-Thompson is just going to quickly pull away from the rest of the field, as he is much faster than the trucks behind him. As you see, Bradley Carlisle pull away from the field as well. However, he's still 2 laps down. As you can see, the gap that Smith-Thompson has already put on Baker, as he's stuck behind Andrew, as he gets into the back of him a little bit here, as Baker's somewhat faster than Andrew, as he's going to get onto the inside of him here, and really nothing he can do. He's much slower than Smith-Thompson, so Smith-Thompson's just going to continue to pull away, as AJ Reed running in third right now. Great run for him so far. We haven't seen a lot from him this season, as Allie Riggs is now challenging them, though she is a couple of laps down. 1 lap after the restart, both Kevin Monroe and Richard Scott would pull into pit road for a bizarre reason. Scott's got some damage from that wreck before. I don't know idea why Monroe's coming in. Both of them would stop and go too, so really don't know what the problem is there. Both would lose a lap as a result. And after they come back out on track, Monroe's going to get into the back of Mike Howard. It's going to send him towards the inside of the track. He's going to come back up into the path of Richard Scott. And that was almost another wreck, as that's not the first time Monroe has done that. Apparently, Monroe not taking any crap from slower cars, as he's racing with the mentality, you're slower than me, get out of my way or I'll move you out of the way. And he almost caused the wreck as a result. However, the real victim in that would be Richard Scott, who would receive even more damage on that truck and would pull it back into the pits. At least it wasn't Monroe's teammate this time. And around that same time, AJ Reed comes into pit road from third, as he was complaining of a tire going down, and they decided to bring that car into pit road before it got any worse, as he's going to take 4 fresh tires. He's going to lose multiple laps as a result. As you can take a look at the gap that Billy Ray Smith-Thompson has on the rest of the field, he literally has no competition left on the lead lap, as all the trucks that are on pace with him are 1 or more laps down, as he catches up to Mike Howard, who I believe is now 2 laps down. It is now catching up to Vincenzo Focusato and Stacy St. Martin. That is 4th and 5th right there. As Smith-Thompson's going to make it 3 wide with Focusato and Dylan Andrew, who is about to be put 2 laps down, as he makes easy work of both of them, and is then going to lap Stacy St. Martin in 4th. That is now going to leave only 3 trucks on the lead lap. And here are the only other trucks on the lead lap, which are Jeremy Baker and Angel Gray, battling for second, as Gray's going to go under Baker and take the spot. An amazing run by Gray so far, whose season has been filled with nothing but crashes. This Luke Star Motorsports team did run last season with both Luke Pellerin and Kate Taylor driving this truck. Both did not fare so well. But anyway, great run so far by a team that hasn't had a lot of success in this series. Bradley Carlisle, who is still 2 laps down, is going to catch up to Dylan Andrew. This is a battle for the 8th position, as Andrew's also 2 laps down, as he's going to pass him with that he was standing still, and is then going to do the same to Vincenzo Focusato. However, Focusato is still 1 lap ahead of Carlisle, as Carlisle's making it look easy, as it's showing how much faster he is than the regulars he's passing now. 4th position, might I add, even at 2 laps down, as the regulars are getting lapped constantly by the leaders. Carlisle just waiting in the wings to pass them once they've been lapped enough times. And it looks like he's going to continue to do that as the race goes on. As you just saw him pass Jesus Ignacio Chavez III, that is for the 7th position. So the longer the race goes on, the more positions he's going to gain. And speaking of regulars getting lapped, leader Billy Ray Smith-Thompson is finally going to catch up to 3rd place Jeremy Baker, and is going to put him a lap down. As Baker offers little resistance, there's really nothing he can do, as Smith-Thompson is much faster than he is. And as you see in the distance, that is Angel Gray in 2nd, the only other truck on the lead lap. As you're going to see the major speed difference between the two, as Smith-Thompson is going to slowly close up on Gray. As similar with Baker, there's little Gray could do about it, and Smith-Thompson is going to put the 88 a lap down. As we're just past the halfway point, Billy Ray Smith-Thompson has successfully lapped the field. Also, shortly after halfway, the engine on the 19 of Ali Riggs is finally going to expire. I mean, judging how Riggs' season has gone, that's really not surprising. But hey, look at the bright side. At least she made it past halfway instead of being taken out in the first 10 laps. The battle for 5th really heating up between Vincenzo Focasato and Stacy St. Martin. Another great run by St. Martin, by the way, as it's a step up from what we've been known to see from her before this season. However, this is not really a surprise for Focasato, who finished 7th in points last season and is considered one of the favorites to win the title for that reason, as Focasato trying to get by St. Martin on the inside. However, the outside line is the stronger line. This is a aggressive banked racetrack, so the outside is banked more than the inside, but Focasato making the inside work, but St. Martin sticking with him on that outside. But here comes Billy Ray Smith-Thompson to put these guys another lap down, as that's going to put a damper on this battle, but that's going to allow Focasato to clear St. Martin for the position, as St. Martin tries to make the crossover move, but it's not going to work. Focasato's going to get the 5th position. And ahead of both of them, in 4th, is Kevin Monroe, who, remember, is still a lap down after having to come into the pits under green, is now caught up to Jeremy Baker for 3rd, and is going to pass him with ease. Monroe was actually posting lap times equal to, if not faster, than Billy Ray Smith-Thompson, and is the only one left on track that's doing so, other than Bradley Carlisle. And eventually, he's going to catch up to 2nd place Angel Gray, and he's actually going to hook the back of Gray and turn the 88 almost into the inside wall. Monroe being very aggressive today, as apparently he has no patience for slower traffic, even though that was a battle for position. But still, Monroe much faster than Gray, as he's now going to move up into the runner-up spot. Only problem is he's still 1 lap behind the leader. And here's the other truck that can keep up with the leader. That is Bradley Carlisle, as he's going to finally catch up with Stacy St. Martin. This is going to be a battle for the 6th position, as he closes up on her and passes her with relative ease. And eventually, he's going to catch Vincenzo Focasato and pass him like he was standing still. So Bradley Carlisle, despite being 2 laps down, is now in the top 5, as he's now going to get held up by Jesus Ignacio Chavez III a little bit, who I believe is now 3 laps down, as Kevin Monroe now catches up to him. Monroe is now the fastest truck on the track, and he's going to try to get around Carlisle, who is a lap behind him, but eventually Carlisle is going to move out of Monroe's way. Now, I don't know if that's because he's a lap behind Monroe, or he's afraid Monroe's going to dump him if he doesn't. Judging what Monroe's done already today, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the latter. Problems for the 35 of Jesus Ignacio Chavez III, as he's going to bring it down pit road. Those issues, in fact, would be terminal, and he would retire from the race. Chavez, who was entering this race the highest running regular in points, this is going to hurt him quite a bit. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson is about to put 3rd place Angel Gray another lap down. If he succeeds in doing so, he would put everybody at least 2 laps down, with the exception of Kevin Monroe. Richard Scott was in between the both of them. However, both him and Smith-Thompson are going to get around Gray. Now, Smith-Thompson has to worry about getting around Scott. As he gets into the back of him, he saves it, and he goes back into Smith-Thompson as he goes harder to the outside wall and flips over one before landing back on his wheels. The leader of the race, who was nearly 2 laps ahead of the field, has gotten involved in an accident as we enter the final quarter of this race, and there is now a considerable amount of damage on that 42 truck. As you see, as Smith-Thompson puts Gray a 2nd lap down, he's all over the back bumper of Scott. He's going to hook him here, but he doesn't expect Scott to come back up onto the track and into him, as you see him roll over once, as you see the damage on that truck. But Billy Ray Smith-Thompson had this race all but won, gets involved in an accident. We're going to have to see how this affects him on the upcoming restart. Here's an onboard shot of Gray. You see the 42 comes to lap him. As you can see, the wreck happened right about here as Scott comes back up, almost into Gray. I'm surprised that he wasn't collected in that, but Gray will keep on going. He's back 1 lap down. The restart will come out just shy of 20 to go. I don't know why Andrew Gray starting on the outside, but we'll see how much that damage is going to affect Smith Thompson as he gets a terrible start as trucks are passing him left and right. Bradley Carlisle gets another one of his laps back. He's now back 1 lap down, and as here comes Kevin Monroe and Angel Gray to unlap themselves. They're now back on the lead lap as Smith Thompson's truck is really hurting right now. This is now the battle for second between Kevin Monroe and Angel Gray. Well, you can't really call it a battle, being that Monroe was much faster than Gray is, and Monroe is now going to move into the second spot with Billy Ray Smith Thompson now off the pace. The question is now, can Kevin Monroe catch him in time as we now under 20 laps to go? Also, after the restart, Vincenzo Focusato is going to have a problem, and he's going to pull it into the pits. Decent run for Focusato up to this point. However, due to how many trucks are left in the race, he's still pretty much guaranteed a top 10 finish. Kevin Monroe is a man on a mission right now as he passes Bradley Carlisle, who's still a lap down. Just a couple of laps after the restart, Monroe is now within 10 seconds of Billy Ray Smith Thompson. Monroe is now running about 3/4 of a second faster than Smith Thompson. But the question is, as I said before, does he have enough time? Here's a truck that's moving his way backwards. That is Jeremy Baker, who has pretty much dropped like a rock since the restart as he's getting passed by Vincenzo Focusato. However, he is a lap behind Baker. Same with Dylan Andrew. I wouldn't be surprised if that 36 truck has lost a cylinder, as he's nowhere near the pace he was before that caution. And after actually holding up Andrew and Stacey St. Martin, Andrew's going to go by him, and so is St. Martin. The battle between Baker and St. Martin, that is actually for position. And Baker's going to lose that, and Baker actually hits the wall. So, as I said earlier, something definitely amiss with that truck now. Angel Gray running in third, actually running somewhat faster than Smith Thompson, and he's got a problem. Cut tire on the 88 truck, and he's going to bring that truck to the pits as Gray was in position for a top 3 finish. And it's going to come to an end here, as he's going to lose 3 laps as a result. As you see Gray pulling into pit road as Billy Ray Smith Thompson passes by. Oh, and he hits the wall there. That's not going to help him keep Kevin Monroe away. As we're coming to 10 to go now, Smith Thompson's lead is now under 7 seconds. Smith Thompson, who has spent the last 2 seasons running in the NRC, has come to run a limited schedule in trucks this season. He's failed to finish his only other start this season due to a pit road accident at Texas World, as a damaged race truck could be keeping him from his first Truck Series win and only his second start. But there's very little Smith Thompson can do with a damaged race truck. And Monroe, who's had the fastest truck all day, as he's closing in at about more than half a second a lap, he's closing in, but Monroe is running out of time. Smith Thompson only has to go 2 more laps in order to win this race, which he has dominated. As you just saw in the shot there, Angel Gray is in between Monroe and Smith Thompson, as Smith Thompson is going to take the white flag this time by. 1 more lap to go, as we're going to see how fast Monroe can get around, as Monroe is on the inside of Gray. He's going to pass him without too much of an issue. He's right there. Can Monroe make it there in time as they come out of 4? Monroe has a run, but he's not going to get there, and Billy Ray Smith Thompson wins here at Albuquerque with a damaged race truck. After being involved in an accident while he was nearly 2 laps ahead of the field, Billy Ray Smith Thompson hangs on and beats Kevin Monroe by 7/100ths of a second. Here's a finish again, focused on Kevin Monroe as he goes by Angel Gray, who was the only obstacle between him and Smith Thompson. As you're going to see here, he comes just short after falling a lap down early in the race due to a off-cycle pit stop. Kevin Monroe almost comes from a lap behind to pull off the victory. However, it wasn't meant to be, as Billy Ray Smith Thompson, who has dominated this race as his competition fell to the wayside, is going to leave with the victory. Smith Thompson would also earn the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps, as that's kind of irrelevant being that he is not running for the championship. Same for Kevin Monroe, who got the pole bonus, as both Smith Thompson and Monroe are the only trucks to finish on the lead lap. Bradley Carlisle, who was 3 laps down at one point, comes back to finish only 1 lap down in 3rd. But Carlisle finally finishes the race and could have possibly battled for the win if you didn't have to pit under green and lose 3 laps. Stacey St. Martin finishes in 4th, the first truck 2 laps down. She's the only truck to finish 2 laps down, actually. An amazing run by St. Martin, who also gets the hard charger bonus. That's actually going to matter to her, being that she is running for the title. And Jeremy Baker, who lost a cylinder on that last run, still manages to pull out a top 5, the first truck 3 laps down. Angel Gray still manages to salvage a 6th place finish 3 laps down. That's a real shame for Gray, who had a podium run pretty much the entire race, but like Carlisle, finally makes it to the finish. Mike Howard finishes in 7th, another quiet run for him. Vincenzo Focasato finishes in 8th, contended for a top 5 finish all day up until he had to pit right after that final restart. Dylan Andrew, who was uncompetitive the entire race, leaves with a 9th place finish, his best result of the season, and despite all the issues he's had today, points leader Richard Scott finishes in 10th. Now here's the point standings as we're now at the 1/4 mark. This is only a 12-race season. Richard Scott is still the points leader, 12 points ahead of Jesus Ignacio Chavez III, who is still the highest running regular despite not finishing today. However, his gap over Mike Howard has shrunk substantially as he's now 3 points ahead of Howard. Howard is the only driver other than Scott who has finished in the top 10 in every race this season. Stacey St. Martin now becoming a part of this battle as she's now 4 points behind Chavez. Jeremy Baker is now 5th in points, 13 points behind Chavez. He's the only regular with 2 top 5 finishes this season. However, wrecking out Texas World really hurt him. Vincenzo Focasato is now in 6th. He's 23 points behind Chavez. AJ Reed is in 7th despite not scoring a top 10 finish this season. Taylor Berlin is in 8th despite not finishing a race this season, so I have no idea how she's up there. Kevin Monroe, despite only starting 2 races, moves up to 9th. And, are we sure that isn't a scoring glitch? Because it says Dale Clow is 10th in points despite being off the pace and not finishing a race all season. So I have no idea what's up with these point standings. All I know is that the rest of the field better get their act together. The fact that Cloud's ahead of a good portion of the full-time field. But anyway, Richard Scott continues to lead the point standings despite not running for the championship. So it's obvious he will not stay up there. However, he may have a shot to stay up there for now, as he will be at the next race, which will be FARC's debut weekend at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas.